I thought red light therapy was a complete scam, but it turns out I was only half right, and I'll show you why. So this is the Kineon Move Pro, which supposedly uses targeted red light laser therapy to relieve joint pain and inflammation while promoting faster healing in just 15 minutes. So whether you've got tennis elbow, a bad knee, TMJ, or a torn rotator cuff like I do, the Kineon Move Pro can be used pretty much anywhere on the body to promote cellular repair. But those are some huge claims, and I'm a skeptic, so I had a lot of research to do. I spent over 20 hours learning the science behind red light therapy and read dozens of research papers on the effects of different kinds of lasers. It was exhausting. But now I can save you the headache and give you the simple 1-minute breakdown on how it all works. And don't worry, you won't need a PhD in physics to follow along. After that, I'll show you hands-on how Kineon worked on the oldest man I know, an active ex-bodybuilder who wanted to use the Move Pro to alleviate joint pain and arthritis. So basically, red light therapy actually does have a lot of science behind it. The technical term for it is photobiomodulation, which really just means using light to change or influence living things. So when your body is exposed to different specific wavelengths of red and near infrared light, usually between 600 and 1000 nanometers, it penetrates your skin and gets absorbed by your cells, specifically the mitochondria. And if you took one thing from high school biology, you probably remember that the mitochondria is the powerhouse of the cell. So this light actually helps our mitochondria produce more energy in the form of ATP. And as you might guess, more cellular energy means your body can repair itself faster, reducing inflammation, easing pain, and speeding up recovery in muscles, joints, and even the skin. That's why it's being used for everything from arthritis and sports injuries to hair loss and wrinkle reduction. And no, it's not the same as a tanning bed. Red and near infrared light don't damage the skin or cause burns. They stimulate healing, not harm. But the best part is it's drug-free and non-invasive, so while it's not a magic bullet, it can be a safe way to help your body heal that doesn't require going into medical debt. Now, there are different kinds of lights with different kinds of benefits, but to keep things moving along, that's where I'm gonna leave it for now. If you wanna dive deeper into the science, you can always go on PubMed and type in photobiomodulation plus whatever injury or ailment you wanna treat, and you'll find that there's already a ton of research finding that this stuff works when it's done right. But that doesn't necessarily mean that the Kineon Move Pro is doing it right. So we're gonna put that to the test in just a minute. But first, remember earlier when I said I was half right about red light therapy being a scam? Well, because I do a lot of health tech reviews, I've gone to a bunch of big health and biohacking conventions. By the way, if you're interested in that kind of tech and like the way I've presented so far, consider hitting that subscribe button. It's actually super helpful for me to know what kind of content to do more of, and you'll probably want to see a lot of the cool products I feature on here. But if I'm being totally honest, at these health conventions, I've always avoided the booths with the red light therapy and laser products because there are just so many different brands popping up right now claiming that their red light panel or gadget is the best, to the point where I kind of just saw it as an overblown fad. My brain immediately dismissed it as being the same kind of BS as those like scanny frequency blocking necklaces, which I promise you will never see on this channel unless it's to make fun of them. So I admit my initial assumption that red light therapy would be pseudoscience was wrong. But being sold on the legitimacy of the research and being sold on the legitimacy of the products are two completely different things. And because red light therapy is such a popular health trend right now, a lot of these companies actually are complete scams. It didn't take much digging for me to find a ton of sketchy companies selling cheap products with blatantly fake reviews. And if you choose the wrong brand, for example, a fly-by-night dropshipper that's just trying to quickly cash in on the hype, there's a good chance that you'll be overpaying for cheap Christmas lights that are using the completely wrong wavelength and dosage and potentially even doing more harm than good. After sorting through all the garbage that's flooding the market right now, I narrowed my search down to just a few of the most popular brands. I decided to do a Kineon Move Pro review because it seemed to have the best score on Trustpilot, and most of the social media comments I saw about it were extremely positive. When it arrives, it comes in a convenient portable case, and the case itself even has a charging port that works with the included USB-C charging cable. Now inside there are 3 modules parked within the charging unit. Each individual module is equipped with 8 660 nanometer deep red LEDs, which you can see as visible red light, as well as 10 808 nanometer near infrared lasers, which are invisible to the naked eye. Without getting too nerdy, it's actually really important that brands like Kineon use both kinds of lights instead of just one. The red LEDs are great for healing surface issues with circulation, hair, and skin repair, These are the kind of lights that you see on red light panels that are super popular right now. You've seen them all over social media. Women are using them to reduce wrinkles. Men are using them to try and keep from going bald. They're legit, but they're not going to help you with arthritis or a torn muscle. For deeper issues like pain, inflammation, and healing joints, you need to have those longer wavelength 808 nanometer lasers, which red light panels don't have. By using both kinds of lights, Kineon is taking a twofold approach to cellular repair. Now, most people who buy the Move Plus Pro just pop the modules into the strap and fit it around a specific part of the body, whether that be the shoulder, knee, elbow, ankle, or something else. But a lot of people don't realize you can also pop the modules out of the strap to spot treat pretty much any part of your body. You could use it on your jaw to help with TMJ, or on your knuckles for arthritis. Because of the red LEDs, you can even use it to spot treat skin issues like cuts, zits, and cold sores to help them heal faster. My original plan for this video was to use the Kineon Move Plus Pro on my shoulder, where I've got a partially torn rotator cuff and a labrum tear from the last time I saved a bunch of kids from a burning school bus. Just kidding, I fell off a Lime scooter. But while I do think this could probably help my shoulder recover faster after pushing it too hard in the gym, the truth is, fortunately, I don't really have any chronic pain there or anywhere else yet. So I thought a better test subject for this product would be my neighbor Kent. Kent is a real old school guy. He's retired now, but spent his whole life going to the gym, and nowadays he's got a whole bunch of joint pain. I asked Kent to use the device for about 2 to 3 weeks on any areas that were bothering him for 15 minutes a day. And because he's a real old school guy, I knew that whatever he told me about Kineon would be the truth and would be going in this video. So after 2 weeks of testing, my buddy Kent had a mostly positive experience with the Kineon Move Plus Pro. He gave the product itself, the lasers, a B+, but the strap a D-. He told me he'd been using the Move Plus Pro on his elbow, his knee, and his hips, and that he did feel a moderate decrease in pain after using it. I actually had this conversation with him while he was walking his dog, and he said that with his knee bothering him from the walk, he was planning to go inside and use Kineon on his knee, knowing that the pain would be gone within about 15 minutes. He also said he loved the built-in timer, which lets him know when any given 5, 10, or 15-minute session is up. However, Kent was not a fan of the strap. He said that it made perfect sense for use on the knees, but he found it a bit difficult to use on other areas like his hips or lower back, for which he invented his own jury-rigged strap to hit those spots. And he would prefer Kineon use a more intuitive strap system, maybe with some more Velcro involved. Ultimately, Kent said that he could see both sides of the argument to buy or not buy the Kineon Move Plus Pro. On the one hand, it could definitely be cost prohibitive for a lot of people, like other retirees, who might prefer to just pop some cheap Advil for pain relief. But on the other hand, most people don't want to rely on pain medication every day for obvious health reasons. So for those people who can afford Kineon, this might be a safer option, potentially even with some longer term benefits. So do with that honest feedback what you will. Now, because Kineon got some pretty positive feedback from Kent, this feels like a good time to say, if you're thinking about giving the Move Plus a try, I'll drop a link down below that I'll keep updated with the best current deal possible. No pressure, this isn't a sponsorship, and I've got my own issues with the product that I'll address in just a minute, but using this link will help support the channel, which I greatly appreciate. If Kent had told me that the Kineon Move Plus Pro did nothing for him, I would have returned the product and wouldn't have even made this video. But because he liked it for the most part, and it did help him with short-term pain relief, let's address some of his concerns with my top pros and cons of Kineon Move Plus Pro. The biggest pro is the product is actually legit. It works. Customers have their complaints with it, like with any product, but those complaints are very rarely with the actual efficacy of the device. Kineon's combination of red LEDs and near-infrared lasers stimulate blood flow and promote cellular repair, both on a surface level and deeper to relieve joint pain. I also really like that they've got built-in synchronized timers for 5, 10, or 15-minute sessions because you want to get the dosage right. It's generally not beneficial to go more than 15 minutes with devices like Kineon. The device is also small, discreet, silent, and mobile, which means you can actually move around with it, as the name Move Plus implies. This is always huge for me because it's much easier to be consistent with something that's relatively passive and easy to do than to stick with something that is boring and difficult. I think it's great that you can just slap this on the target area and get on with your day. And finally, I think the modules are really great for spot treatments like healing cold sores, TMJ, etc. This adds a whole extra layer of usefulness to the device. But it's not a perfect product. Like Kent, I'm not a huge fan of the straps either. I think just a little bit more Velcro for the adjustments would have been a little bit easier to make sense of if I'm moving it around different spots around the body. Now, if you're using Kineon in the same spot every day, it probably won't be an issue for you. But if you plan to hit your knee, then your shoulder, then your back every day, adjusting the straps could definitely get annoying. The device just, it makes sense somewhere like the knee, and then you kind of have to just drape it over your shoulder, or if you want to use the back, like Kent mentioned, wanting a back extension for it because it's not quite long enough for that. And I should point out, Kineon actually does have a back extension that they sell on their website, but it's sold separately. Sorry, Kent. I think it would have been cool if they just included the back strap with the device. Finally, I don't think Kineon's 1-year warranty is very generous, especially since neither the lithium batteries nor the strap itself can be replaced individually. I definitely think Kineon could do better on that. So, when all is said and done, is the Kineon Move Plus Pro worth it? Well, I would say yes, if you have a specific use case in mind. If you're solely looking to use red light therapy for skincare or hair loss, there are red light panels and other products that are more convenient for that. But if you're looking for deep cellular repair, like relieving joint pain and arthritis, or helping your shoulder heal after surgery, or even spot treating maybe specific pain points around the body, then yeah, I think this product is legit and a great option for that. It's definitely expensive, but from what I've seen with red light therapy products, that's just kind of sort of the industry standard for the ones that actually work and get the wavelength and dosage right. But again, I did snag a discount code that will take a significant amount off that price, so make sure you check down in the description for that if you plan on buying one yourself. Otherwise, if you're dealing with neck or back pain from sitting at a desk for long hours at a time, you might also benefit from checking out one of my absolute favorite products, a chair that saved me from becoming a work from home hunchback. I've got the full review on that right here, so go check it out.